Hello everyone, happy spring equinox 2022. Vernal equinox is the other way it's known. It's the moment when the sun is exactly vertical above the equator, when day and night are exactly 12 hours all over the globe from south to north pole. A day of perfect balance, a moment of perfect balance. This is the chart of that moment for Greenwich. You see the sun here at 0 degrees Aries, and the moon was at the time at 29:53 Libra, void of course. This is very important. Well, first of all, I want to say the spring equinox chart is really the new year's beginning, the solar new year, the natural new year, and as 90% of population on Earth live on the northern hemisphere, this is certainly the most important beginning in the natural cycle, with the sun crossing over the equator and the days getting longer on the northern hemisphere, slowly, these first moments of spring we have now. So this is a powerful chart, and we will get deeper into this in a moment. Just to start with, I want to say, yes, the moon void, of course, is a moment of disorientation, confusion. The moon runs into the void, as it says. It's the end degrees of every sign when the moon makes no more aspect with another planet. Aspect meaning the Ptolemaic aspects of 60, 90, 120 or 180 degrees to any of the major planets. So the moon made the last exact Ptolemaic aspect to Neptune a few hours prior, and naturally there was the aspect to the sun, but that has been nullified with the sun's entry into the next sign. So this is really an important point, that the moon is perfectly void, of course, during that equinox. And as I say, we get back to this chart in a minute. I want to roll back a little further and show you the whole big structure of celestial energies which were building up and which are holding that whole equinox in place, reinforcing many of its aspects. So we go back a couple days to full moon of March 18, which was the 7th full moon in an exact aspect to the Galactic Center. The Galactic Center is the central sun at 27 degrees and 9 minutes in Sagittarius at this time. And that moves very slowly, 1 degree every 72 years due to the precession of the equinoxes. The central sun is the hub around which all stars we see in the night sky are rotating around. All the stars we can see belong to this galaxy, the Milky Way, and the Galactic Center, the central sun, is the hub of that. The Galactic Center in astrology is a point of super high importance. It amplifies every planet it gets in touch with, and this time it's the black moon. The black moon moves very slowly, 1 degree every 9 days, once in 9 years around the whole zodiac. The black moon is the point where the moon is farthest away from Earth. So what does that mean? The black moon, first of all, is the shadow point, the collective shadow point. It's the deepest trench in the ocean, comparingly, where all the unresolved issues settle, all the things we don't want to look at. So this is perfectly in the fire line of the Galactic Center's energy. And I wrote just a little post here on that, the black moon opposing the Galactic Center. What we see happening these days, extremes on both ends of the scale, on all levels, to the point of complete absurdity. Darkness is at center stage. Reality is turning into a full-blown caricature. On the other hand, one can feel immense surges of light, because at the core of darkness, light is found. That's the miracle there. There's an inner knowing that we are witnessing the grand finale. The House of Cards irreversibly is caving in on itself. And if you have watched the news, which you certainly all did, then you are aware of this story here, which broke on the 18th, on that very day. All of a sudden, it's no more disinformation. Hunter Biden's infamous laptop was confirmed in New York Times report. The story was widely censored and labeled as disinformation by big tech companies and mainstream media in the run-up to the 2020 elections. And I thought I will treat you here a little bit with this guy here. And now just listen to this. This is the second presidential debate.
I have to respond to that. Because look, there are 50 former national intelligence folks who said that what he's accusing me of is a Russian plant. They have said that this has all the five former heads of the CIA, both parties, say what he's saying is a bunch of garbage. Nobody believes it except his and his good friend Rudy Giuliani.
You mean the laptop is now another Russia hoax?
That's exactly what.
This is where he's going. The laptop is Russia.
I want to stay on the issue of.
Okay, you got the point. I mean, the whole thing is now really blowing up in their faces. It's undeniable. And yet another really interesting video I want to share with you, that's from Magenta Pixie's transmission of the 9, the white-winged collective consciousness of 9. So that's what they have to say about this present time.
Within the 10 days of light system, a very different perception of reality is held.
Now, I should introduce first, this is about the 10 days of darkness between the 17th and the 26th of March. However, this is a recurring period of ever so often coming. So right now, this is a most particularly strong expression of that 10 days of darkness. And as the story goes, and you would have to listen to the whole transmission, this has been used by the light forces to play a different tune. So it's kind of balancing out or using this period of extreme darkness to trigger an awakening, and that's what they have to say.
That of the beautiful planetary reality that has long time since been hijacked, infiltrated, and controlled behind the scenes within the shadows. Finally, this hidden structure is being revealed to the masses. And whilst the reveal is most unpleasant, it does signify a changing of the guard on the horizon, and with it, freedom. A liberty that in previous time periods can only have been dreamt of. 10 days of light is the exposure of the darkness as the light is shone upon the dastardly misdeeds and previously buried secrets. This brings relief, release, and celebratory union as all that has been tightly woven within a ruling class structure unravels before the very feet of an unsuspecting world.
So that's the bigger picture of what we are looking at right now. And if we look at this full moon chart, which was the 7th, as I say, of 8, in that powerful window, which I talked about many times in my past recordings, between September the 20th, 2021 and April the 16th, 2022, all full moons, 8 of those, had an exact multiple of 30 degrees angle to the Galactic Center. So this full moon we just celebrated a few days ago was perfectly squaring that degree, forming a grand square together with the black moon. So this was clear to me months ago that this would be a culmination of sorts and a breakthrough at the same time, particularly so as it's just closing in on the vernal equinox, with the black moon being exactly at this point. I have here the chart for you. This was on the 20th, yesterday, when the black moon finally, most exactly to the 2nd of arc, was opposing that spot. So this in itself gave it away that not just this time, but that whole coming year, or that whole next 3 months, most particularly from spring equinox into summer solstice, that 3-month period for sure would be under that influence, as this is planting a seed. The equinox is always a powerful nodal point which plants a seed for what's to come. So let's go back to the full moon chart, because this is the template for the next 4 weeks. So let's stay within that time frame a little longer first before we venture out and I show you all the background charts I have prepared for you. So the black moon at the 3rd house cusp. The 3rd house is about communication, information. Yes, this is a clear sign that information of that sort is now thrown out into the public, that this is really the breaking of the dam when all the dark stuff is going to be exposed. We have now reached that moment in history where the balance really shifts. All that darkness will be revealed to the masses, and this is the changing of the guards. That's again words which the 9 have been using. And they say the reveal is inevitable. All that has been hidden shall come to light. Interestingly enough is Varuna and Radamantis here in the perfect 90-degree mark to the ascendant and descendant of this collective global chart. Radamantis is the judge of the dead. He was a wise king in the Greek mythology, and he was so impartial and totally just in his many years of ruling that after he passed, Zeus put him in charge of judging the dead. Varuna has a very, very similar energy, is the gold standard of justice and truth. It's a pre-Vedic creator god. It was named after punisher of those who lie and dishonor contracts. At the cusp of the 5th house, Leo energy, so this is double Leo energy. It's about putting our foot collectively down and acting on all that has been collected, all that information which we know is all in place. We have it all, as the Q message often said it. Then there's a few more things here in this chart I want to point out. Still the ongoing opposition of Orcus and Nessus, which is all about transforming the lower frequency. Nessus represents, and Nessus is here in a close conjunction with Mercury. So yes, it means that it is something we have to take in account. It's the main narrative which is out in the world right now, all about darkness and difficulty and war and whatnot, and it's all twisted in a way to prevent the big dam break, which cannot be prevented. And on the other side there is Orcus, all about alchemy, transforming energies into a higher frequency band. This opposition is going for quite a few years. I guess it's somewhere between 2018 and 2025. So this is a long process of transformation which is going on. We're just about getting to the core of this process. By the way, the hexagrams these two are in, Nessus is in hexagram 63, which is after completion, and Orcus 64 before completion. So it is really that shift of the guards from the old to the new. Nessus stands at the very end of a huge cycle, hexagram 63, and the 64th hexagram, the last of the count in that sense, making the loop, and is really about before everything starts anew. It is that primordial state of chaos, you could call it, pre-order. And on that note, there's another interesting planet here in that same axis of the Galactic Center, which will actually be having an exact conjunction with the Black Moon in just a few days. Chaos. Chaos is the original order. That is the meaning of this deity. It has been reversed as many things, inverted to its opposite, but chaos is the primordial order, and because chaos is there, we can be trusting that this assembly of everything, of this integration into particles, that the world will come together in a better place, in a better way, organically, naturally, if we allow it to go through this stage of complete defragmentation. That's what chaos stands for, and this will be exact on the 23rd, right, that is tomorrow. Interesting here also that this is an exact number of days later from the Black Moon connecting with the Galactic Center. You see there's almost the same ascendant and mid-heaven, midnight point. So this is always a sign that something is reinforced So the black moon and chaos, that is a very, very central energy of what's going on right now. Further interesting, and this is, I covered that in my a few recordings before, is the conjunction of Chiron with Pallas Athene, which is about justice and truth, taking responsibility for what is occurring. That's Chiron. Realizing that this has to be dealt with, we can't avoid it any longer. It is opening the wound, cleaning it, doing the necessary operations to allow nature to heal. So that's all we can do. We can just prepare the grounds and nature will take over again. That ties into what I said about chaos, about the original primordial order. Nature is based on sacred geometry. If you look at fractal pictures, how everything is always in a state of perfect balance and beauty. Wherever you go in nature, for example, that you find beauty. Only if we get in, humans, we disturb the environment. But as soon as the wind comes in, and or the ocean waves, and wash the sand again away, blow the imprints of our walking across the beach, nature heals itself constantly every moment. And that is the force here we are also invoking. So, just following that full moon, we had two interesting energy shifts heliocentrically. Ceres entered Cancer, and just a short while after it was Hygeia entering Scorpio. Ceres and Hygeia. Ceres is the earth goddess, about love, unconditional love, nourishment. Mars is rising here on this, in this chart, again parallelly transferred to the Greenwich location. And in this chart here, where Hygeia is entering the scorpionic energies, Hygeia about healing, well-being, health, a very important factor these days. Entering Scorpio, we are going deeper, we're trying to really go down now to the level of resolution, diving to the depth of the oceans to figure it all out. And wonder, oh wonder, Mercury here rising together with Saturn. This conjunction has been becoming most exact just a day after. I have actually here the lineup of the charts. So you see that is then the Black Moon Galactic Center conjunction also on the 20th, and then we had that beautiful Mercury-Jupiter conjunction, which totally ties into what I played from the 9, that reinvention of our world from a higher frequency band. Actually, I wrote about this and I should quickly share it with you. I think it's I can't say it much better than I did there. Yes, I didn't show you that one yet, but that's okay. So let's see. Here we have it. Okay, there's many things here. That's the one I wanted to read for you. So it's the dreaming of a new reality into manifestation early morning on the very first day of the new year, initiating this new solar year at 6:06 a.m., the exact moment when the sun has been rising over Earth's zero meridian, which is where Greenwich is on, but it's the whole meridian from north to south pole. At that moment when the sun was rising on that first new day, Mercury and Jupiter had their exact conjunction. Mercury and Jupiter, that's a very positive way of seeing things, of communication, of dreaming, as Mercury in Pisces is related to that envisioning and hearing and seeing things which are yet in another dimension, bringing them down here, planting the seeds. Mercury in here with Neptune too. Jupiter and Neptune will have their conjunction, as you probably know, on the 12th of April, just a little while away, which will be kind of a culmination of sorts, which probably will be the end of that tribulatory period we are in between now and then. These next 2-3 weeks definitely prove to be quite chaotic, as this unraveling, this bringing all that darkness into the open will definitely create some waves, and people, the masses who are totally unaware of many of these things, we can likely see some ugly scenes on some level, hopefully not too many of those, people losing it naturally, because there's been so much deception, all that at once coming out. It will be difficult. So I guess that's probably one reason we have been preparing not having to go out into the world if things get to a really chaotic place. That's what we can expect for the next short while. But that Jupiter-Mercury conjunction at the early morning on the 21st, this is super promising with the zero cardinal axis, a new beginning truly initiated here. And I did also print the okay, no, that's not correct. I showed you the heliocentric picture. Okay, this is what I want to show you now. This is the heliocentric just a few hours later, when Mercury and Saturn have their conjunction now. You see, it's from Earth's perspective, that is 6:06 a.m. Mercury and Jupiter here at 18 degrees 45 Pisces. As seen from the Sun, naturally all these inner planets are geometrically in a different position. Jupiter is still here in Pisces at 16 degrees this time, but Mercury, as seen from the Sun, is at 17 degrees and had its very close conjunction just at something like 14 hours later. Is that right? No, it was the night before. Okay, so yeah, sorry for that. Too many charts here sometimes. But what I want to say is, this is the heliocentric Mercury-Saturn conjunction, and it has Aries at the 7th house cusp. Aries, the one who's not afraid to go through a conflict, in the attempt to bring out a greater truth. Mercury, Saturn, naturally, that is more of an assignment, having to do something which cannot be avoided. And then there's also Astrea, interestingly, Astrea, the one who cleans up a mess and is ready to get involved, resolving issues and problems. This is super interesting. That is really just within a few hours of Mercury from Earth's perspective lining up with Jupiter. So Jupiter and Saturn both involved on different levels. On the energetic level, it's the Saturnian energy of doing the task, and it is by the book, very structured, step by step, well planned, in order to get difficult issues resolved, while at the same time Mercury, as seen from Earth, is having its conjunction with Jupiter, which lightens the whole thing. It really shows that dichotomy, that extreme polarization which we are seeing in our present times, very well illustrated. At the same time, just a few hours later again, there is a Venus-Uranus opposition. That is when they were exact in opposition. Again, heliocentric astrology, this is here. This Venus-Uranus opposition, see the Sun, Earth at 047 Libra, so this is just less than one full day after the exact solstice, and not solstice, equinox, sorry about that. So Venus and Uranus, yes, that is exciting. That is music, new frequencies coming in. It's all about the creation of harmony and of bringing these Uranian forces and giving them a fertile soil to sprout in. And with Mars here at the 7th house cusp, yes, this is implemented by interaction with one another. Mars at the 7th house cusp, it's all about interacting with the world. Also Vesta here, Vesta when she appears, one of the asteroids, about commitment and very high work ethic. So then tomorrow another heliocentric alignment of extreme importance will be exact. Juno will be aligning with Chariklo, and that is in let me find her for you. Juno and Chariklo. Here is Juno and here is Chariklo. So Juno is partnership, teamwork. Chariklo is the midwife. It's Chiron's female companion. Lots of it's a lot about compassion and being there for one another, giving birth to this new frequency band. again, this is just the beginning of a new cycle. Interesting, again, the same basic energy as we had with the black moon and the Galactic Center, black moon and chaos, this Gemini energy at the ascendant globally, and the Aquarian energy up top as the focal point. Then there is this geocentric Mars-Uranus square also tomorrow exact. I found it interesting, the 29th degree of Libra rising here, that's where the moon was when the sun was exactly at 0 degrees Aries. Just showing you this once more here. Where is it hiding? Here. 2953. Here in a close conjunction of Haumea. Haumea is a reforming energy. Birth from fire. And that makes me quote again something the Nine said. Well, they said heralded by Poseidon. And Poseidon is actually a Uranian planet. I just tell you this now here. Heralded by Poseidon, orchestrated by King Neptune, and served by the first wavers of the heavens above, the planets. The architects of the 10 days of light portal waves. And then you find yourselves within this morphogenetic field of fire manifestation now. So this makes me really think of that Haumea energy, which is very radical and able to recreate from the ashes. It's really the phoenix reborn from its ashes. That's this kind of energy. It's a Hawaiian goddess, Haumea, which in the creation story there is what created these islands, very volcanic naturally too. So this all coming together here with this Mars-Uranus square, a very explosive and intense energy, that perfect square. So I guess it is that impulse which gets things done. And then, as I already showed you, this is then the Black Moon Chaos conjunction on the 23rd also. And the final chart here I have for you is then the 27th. Mercury will enter Aries. And again, I want to link back to what the Nine said about this window, this 10 days of darkness with Mercury in Pisces still. And on the 27th, which will be the first day of coming out of that period of extreme polarization, with Mercury at 0 degrees Aries and Pluto here conjunct the Moon, Pluto most particularly exactly at midheaven, showing that yes, the next phase of transformation, transfiguration is just about starting. Mercury in Aries is giving birth to new ideas, new concepts, new ways of creation. And as we all know, every creation, everything we can see and touch has started with a thought, The thought pattern, as it says in the Bible at the beginning, was the Word, and that is Mercury and Aries. So this will be the next phase then. So to end this recording, I just want to read you once more what the 9 say about the 21st of March 2022, which is today as I'm recording this, which also in the Mayan system is the beginning of the new year. And I wanted to also run this quickly by you. This is today's signature is 7 EQ, the wind, the white resonant wind. Wind is the carrier of spirit, guided by Ish, the wizard's energy, the wizard standing with one foot in this dimension, with the other in the other world, bridging that gap from between the two dimensions. If you think of that, the seen and the unseen world as the two dimensions. So this is a powerful day to start with in the Mayan calendar, and we are in the let me show you this here. This is the structure of the Mayan calendar, and as of today we are on this day 7 EQ, and we are still within that fourth castle. I marked them here a little clearer so you get the idea. You read it vertically down. When you end that column, you get up to the next one. So we are right now here at this point. A few more days to go in this yellow southern castle of expansion before we enter then the next chapter, which is the 29th of March. Very interesting, that synchronicity again. 27th, 2 days earlier, Mercury enters Aries. So the green central castle, the last 52 days within the 260-day structure, is the renewal of the light. After the expansion, we get into the renewal, the integration. Will be a most interesting month, April, coming up. More about that soon to come. Just wanted to show you this as I had it ready for you. And then, yes, let's finish the session by reading this, what the 9 said. The 21st of March 2022 marks the beginning of the next stage of the new world. The true new year. The third spiral of 9. As you together in unison transform the 5-phase dark plan into the multiple-phased plan of light. Most exciting time in history. We are alive. Celebrate it, enjoy it. We will tell these stories, our kids and grandkids and grandkids, as we will be here for so much longer than any of us can even imagine. We are at the true entry point into a magical world, into an amazing time on Earth. Enjoy it. It will be something to be remembered. Again, thanks for joining and listening, and if you feel so, give it a like or even share it and subscribe. Love you all. Take care.